Human trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to obtain some type of labor or commercial sex act, is the definition used by the Department of Homeland Security. According to Derderian Law Group, an estimated 4.5 million people throughout the world are victims of forced sexual exploitation, a number that only grows every year, and a large part of this crime has only been made easier by the advent of the internet.
Human trafficking is one of the most misunderstood crimes that affect the world today, and the root of the problem is more complex than most people would expect. There are conflicting representations of human trafficking on every form of media, from a glamorized version of victims in movies to a TikTok that shows kidnapping and abductions as the only form of human trafficking. So, if recognizing human trafficking is an issue, as well as tracking it down, it only becomes more difficult as the predominant platform for human trafficking has become digital.
Backpage was an internet-based platform where sex buyers could browse and search for their next victim. Traffickers at the time would post pictures of their product for a buyer to reach out next. One thing that investigators used for the website was the fact that Backpage was a completely open website, with no requirements for an email login and no requirements to pay for a subscription, or any forms of identity verification. Investigators could then look for any victims that were posted in the local area and trace them back. Eventually, Backpage was shut down after a series of lawsuits, as well as other similar websites. However, as more of these websites got shut down, new websites would arise that were more difficult to investigate. Many of the new websites that emerged required user verification, which was an issue for law enforcement who could not give out their real identities. Many websites also required credit cards on file to enter and would not accept a prepaid card of some kind. Many of these websites were invite only and had a multiple step verification process, including background checks and photo IDs. In combination, these newfound barriers posed a lot of issues for law enforcement. The typical media portrayal of human trafficking as well tends to identify pimps and prostitutes, for example, into a narrow box. Most movies portray victims as tall, attractive women, almost like models, and traffickers who are foreign, greedy, and are running an enormous sex trafficking business. It creates an image where most people wouldn't be looking for victims anywhere possible, when human trafficking and traffickers can be anywhere from small towns to large cities. Traffickers have access into basically any household in the United States through the role of any app where you can interact with another person, whether it be Snapchat, Instagram, or Discord. While police officers have an open door to use these apps to understand them, parents monitoring what their kids are doing on these apps is still a better safety precaution.
Some of the best ways that police can combat human trafficking is by keeping the public informed. The police have their own information network and social media accounts that they can post from, whether it be human trafficking arrests from local areas around to informational videos from the Attorney General's office. Keeping the public informed and aware of the general state of how human trafficking works and is used in the modern world is key to keeping people safe.